Many people are interested in the question, is it easy to become an actor? It's impossible to give a definite answer. Someone became a famous actor by working long and hard. Some rise to the top through one successful role. But there are people who became actors by accident, without even dreaming of such career, or having already abandoned all attempts to break into Hollywood. There are a few bright actors I want to talk about today. Jason Statham never dreamed of a career as an actor. Never played at school stage or had acting lessons. Jason's parents focused on a healthy lifestyle, and sports entered in life of the future actor from an early age. Statham started swimming in school years, and later concentrated on diving. His passion led him to the Olympic team in 1988. The Olympics in Seoul was the only in Statham's sports career, which he sometimes regrets. But in 1992, Jason took 12th place at the World Championships in diving. It would seem that Statham had made up his mind about his career. But sports brought little money, and Jason tried to earn in different ways. His father sold fake perfumes and jewelry on the streets, and Jason from age 14 often replaced his father behind the counter, and then inherited the family business. Because of Statham's athletic physique, he was noticed by an agent at French Connection, which produced clothes. So, Jason got into the modeling business. Through this, Statham starred in several music videos in the early 90s and got his first acting experience. But in the movie, Statham got completely by accident. There are several versions of the story, but I will quote the one to which Statham himself refers. One day he was standing on the street as usual, selling fake jewelry. At that moment, Guy Ritchie was walking down the street, just looking for actors for his first film, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. The film was about a gang of small-time criminals, and Ritchie needed the appropriate types. The attention of the director drew a perky guy who praised his goods as best he could. Ritchie approached Statham and offered him a role in his film with a fee of £5,000. Jason later said that he was ready to play for free. He was interested in trying something new. No one believed in the success of the film, as everyone compared Ritchie to Tarantino and accused the movie of being secondary. But Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels became hit and gained cult status. On a budget of £960,000, the film made almost $4 million in the United States. Guy Ritchie was immediately recognized as a great talent, and producers wrote him a check for his next film. In Snatch, the Ritchie gave to Statham the lead role. The twisted crime comedy proved to be a ticket to the big leagues for both. On a budget of $10 million, the film made $83 million. Statham did not see himself anywhere else but action films. He himself explained his choice of the fact that the action movie is a simple movie in which everyone can find something interesting. In 2001, Statham starred in Ghosts of Mars by Hollywood maître John Carpenter. And in the movie The One, in which Jason paired Jet Li, who in those years was gaining popularity in the United States. Also, this year there will be another fateful acquaintance. Producer Steve Chasman came to Luc Besson with a proposal to make a film for Statham. Transporter finally transformed the actor into an action hero. This image Statham began to develop with such force that he quickly took a leading position in the genre. Many of his films were not big-budget blockbusters, but the actor is not confused. He starred a lot and with pleasure. In 2003, the film The Italian Job did well. It was such a budget version of Ocean's 11, but Statham managed to work a lot of famous actors at a time. The Transporter franchise was also gaining popularity, but in 2005, Statham was hit by the powerful failure of Chaos. In those years, Wesley Snipes rode hard toward the bottom and almost dragged Jason with him. Chaos turned out to be Snipes' last theatrical film. On a budget of $20 million, the film barely made $5. After such a fiasco, Statham was dropped to Uwe Boll in The Name of the King. Jason could have ended his career alongside Dominic Pearsall in Slavery to Uwe Boll. But he managed to escape by some miracle. That miracle turned out to be the movie Crank. No one believed in low-budget thrash, but the audience loved the thrashing, gore and sodomy going on screen, and Jason swam out and began to star in action films with a double effort. These efforts did not go unnoticed, and in 2009, Sly called Statham into The Expendables, in which Jason would be a regular acting. At this point, Statham becomes a major action movie star. 2 or 3 movies starring him were released in a year. Jason was throwing scoundrels left and right as hard as he could. And as we already know, efforts are not wasted. In 2015, Statham received an invitation to The Family, albeit in the role of the antagonist. Deckard Shaw appealed to audiences so much that it will get its own spin-off in 2019, along with Dwayne Johnson's character. The film was a big hit on one level of main franchise, and on a budget of $200 million collected $750 at the box office. Jason got $13 million for his role. In 2021, Statham returned to Guy Ritchie in Wrath of Man. Despite the height of the pandemic and dead box office, the remake of the French action movie did well and received positive reviews. Following that, Jason starred in another Guy Ritchie film, Operation Fortune. The film was ready at the end of January 2022 and was able to be released in March. But because of the events in Ukraine, distribution of the film was delayed, and the film was sent to reshooting. The thing is that Statham's hero should, as usual, crush villains in packs, but the villains in the movie was the Ukrainian mafia. The studio was afraid to release the movie and postponed it until better times, so as not to anger the public. The most interesting thing is that even after becoming a popular actor, Statham did not learn acting, take lessons, or try on a variety of fancy acting methods. As he says, he almost always plays himself. A tough guy who makes you want to cross the street at sight of him. Steve Carell, unlike Jason Statham, on the contrary, dreamed of an acting career. But it didn't work out. Fame came to the actor as not easy and not immediately. Carell played his first role in full-length film at age 29, the age for the debut a pretty decent. It was a small episode in the movie Curly Sue, after which the actor disappeared from the big screen almost for 10 years. He managed to work in the post office, where Carell was kicked out because of slowness, and play in children's theater and commercials. He got into Chicago comedy troupe The Second City, where he played with Stephen Colbert, now the successful host of his own late-night show. Thanks to The Second City, Carell became known to other American comedians. In 1996, Dana Carvey, a colleague of Mike Myers, invited the actor to his The Dana Carvey Show. Carell's performances were so well received by audiences that even when the show closed, Carell and Colbert were not out of work. Their characters were moved to Saturday Night Live. In 1999, Carell got into another iconic evening project, The Daily Show. There, the actor had 2 regular segments. In show, Carell and Colbert played reporters who discuss current news in a funny way. The first movie breakthrough came in 2003, when the already 41-year-old Carell played a small role as a reporter. Yes, a reporter again. In Bruce Almighty, the main character played by Jim Carrey makes Carell's character speak mumbly on live. The lively facial expressions along with the actor's silent eyes made the scene one of the most remembered. Next up was Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, where Steve Carell was called in by Adam McKay, author of future Oscar hit tragicomedies The Big Short, Vice, Don't Look Up. The actor was again a TV reporter, this time weather anchor Brick Tamland. This is a strange man who loves ice cream beyond measure, has an IQ of 48, and at one point in the movie kills a rival with a trident. Impressed with Steve's performance, Judd Apatow, the producer of the picture, suggested that he make a movie together. So The 40-Year-Old Virgin, a comedy about a grown man who has never had sex, was born. The film turned the bright character actor into a man who began to be trusted with major roles. Developed the career of the actor series The Office and his Michael Scott, who was originally to be played by Bob Odenkirk. American adaptation of the British TV series had a bad start, and The Office in general was thought to close after the first season. Saved the situation as The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Steve Carell's new status. Producers believed in the actor's ability to attract viewers, and The Office was given a second chance. As a result, the series ran for 9 seasons and received worldwide acclaim and love from viewers. Steve established himself in Hollywood as a comedic actor, but quickly proved that he could play dramatic roles. In 2006, Carell bypassed Bill Murray and Robin Williams to audition for a role in Little Miss Sunshine, a drama about a family who travels across several states to a children's beauty competition. Carell continued to surprise audiences further. In the drama Foxcatcher, he physically changed to portray John DuPont. This role brought actor an Oscar nomination and, more importantly, proved his genre universality. The actor has not become a superstar. He happily accepts roles in television series and often features in the supporting roles. But this does not detract from his talent. Famous directors calling Carell in their films, and for the further career of the actor you shouldn't worry. Harrison Ford's creative path is similar to that of Steve Carell. Ford during his college years signed up for drama club, and just after graduation, he began walking around auditions and studios in the hope to get some kind of role. Acting career shy and always somber Guy was not developed immediately. Almost 10 years of rare shooting in the third scene in the second-rate series. Ford was constantly getting rejected by the major films. None of the producers did not see the future actor, so they did not want to waste time on him. Ford managed to have a family and 2 children during the run in Hollywood. And since the simple running around did not bring any income, Ford took a job as a carpenter. Harrison abandoned all dreams of acting career and concentrated on working with wood and succeeded at it. As Ford worked in Los Angeles, he often received orders from famous actors, producers and directors. That's how he got the right contacts, which led him to a George Lucas movie. American Graffiti was a troubled film. Lucas struggled to find financing. No one was interested in distributing the film. And after the test screenings, Universal Studios wanted to send the film for reshoots and completely re-edit the picture. Francis Ford Coppola, who was the producer of the film, saw potential in it and was ready to buy American Graffiti from the studio for $750,000. In the end, after hot discuss, film was released with minimal changes. American Graffiti became a big hit, making $115 million at the worldwide box office and received 5 nominations for Oscar. Everyone woke up famous. Ford did not quit his job as a carpenter, but began to go to auditions more often and get more prominent roles. But there wasn't and might not have been much success. When Lucas was looking actors for Star Wars, he refused to take them from American Graffiti. Therefore, Ford was not initially considered for a role in the film. He worked as a carpenter at the studio, where preparations for filming were underway. And one day he was asked to read a text paired with the actresses, because the actors for the male roles have not yet been approved. Ford read the same text over and over, and after several hours it began to annoy him. Harrison began to read jerkily, rudely and constantly snapped. At this point George Lucas realized that the future Han Solo was sitting in front of him. Star Wars had a bombshell effect. Sci-fi took over Hollywood. All the studios were trying to bring elements of science fiction into their films. The Empire Strikes Back solidified the position of George Lucas in Hollywood, and any studio was ready to allocate any money for his project. It is funny that of all the cast of the Star Saga, only Harrison Ford was able to break through to the next level. Perhaps the reason is the enormous success of George Lucas's next project, which he launched with Steven Spielberg. Indiana Jones blew up the box office in 1981. On a budget of $18 million, film collected $353 million. Ford's career took off, but he, remembering a string of failed films early in his career, chose his roles with extreme caution. One of these projects was Film Witness. The script for a long time could not be put to work. Studio was afraid to finance a country film, until it attracted the attention of Harrison Ford. For a star of this size, producers immediately allocated $12 million. Peter Weir was offered the director's chair by Ford. The film did well at the box office, grossed $68 million. Ford received his only Academy Award nomination for his role in The Witness. Ford would work with Weir on the next film, The Mosquito Coast, which was already Weir's personal project for which he could not find financing. But after the success of The Witness, money was found immediately. The film performed poorly at the box office and the roads of the actor and director diverged. In the 90s, Ford starred with the most famous directors. He was invited to his films by Roman Polanski and Jack Nicholson. Ford played Jack Ryan on the screen and in 1997 promoted to the role President of the United States. In those years it was considered a great achievement for the actor. Harrison Ford continues to actively shoot despite his age. His character is back in the new Star Wars trilogy and in Blade Runner sequel. Also, Ford still does not mind trying on a worn leather hat and take a whip. How will look the fifth Indiana Jones is already a mystery, because the actor turned 80 years old and although he looks great for his age, the adventurer looked ridiculous already in fourth part. Thanks for listening. Subscribe and stay tuned.